Oh man, we're here with Ariana of Know This TV. It's Know This TV?
Yeah, so that's the website, and the show is Know This with Ariana.
Okay, Know This with Ariana.
Yes.
Now, you talked a little bit about how you got into it, but really, how did it start?
It started while I was still in grad school, so I was living off of loans, and I had the time to really explore my passions.
What coast were you on at this point? You were in
I was
New
in New
York?
York City, yeah, so I was out of NYU, and I was just really frustrated with what was going on in media. I just didn't feel like there were empowering images. I was just tired of seeing the cat fights, and I just knew that we were better than this.
No Bad Girls Club for you?
No, unfortunately. Yeah. Not even as a guilty pleasure. I can't even do that one. But yeah, I was tired of seeing that, and I actually did a video for Oprah's contest when she was Get Your Own Show.
Yeah, I remember.
And so I introduced my concept, which is knowledge of self is sexy. So really trying to put a younger spin on kind of the self-help side of things, and I unexpectedly got really positive responses to that in terms of being able to be on camera and kind of communicate that message. So I was like, maybe there's something to this. So I started developing a show, and in March I launched it as Know This with Ariana.
Now, you can't just start a TV show, obviously, right? So I'm wondering, how did you, for other folks out there who might have some of these ideas and stuff, how did you put it all together? Because a tour, that costs money, right?
Yeah, it does.
So I mean, how does that whole process work?
I'm a very ambitious person. I'm also very kind of crazy, if you really think about it, in terms of the leaps that I've taken, kind of self-funding to start. And there's one of the young women I interviewed, actually, Danielle Leslie of Gen Juice. She said she has a saying about, follow your passion and convince the money to follow. So that's what I'm currently doing with the tour.
Wait, I gotta write that down because I need to live that. Convince the money to follow.
Yes, follow your passion and convince the money to follow. It's not just, and the money will follow.
Do you have Money's number so I can call it?
Yeah, I wish. You're really talking to the wrong person, unfortunately. But yeah, it was having a really strong social network and being able to tap into people who were able to help me get the show started. I was able to use NYU TV studios for the first few episodes, but it really was just making the decision. So in January I decided, this is what I'm going to work. I'm not going to be scared. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to give it a full shot. If it doesn't pan out, all right, we'll go on to something else, but I'm going to give it a try. And as soon as I really focused my energy on that, from January, by March I had the first episode up. And I just feel like that's a testament of terms of when you tap into what you're really strong at, and when you commit to something, you can make the resources come around. And
what is part of your purpose?
Yes.
For being here. Yeah, absolutely. So walk us back a little bit, because you've done a lot of things. You worked in nonprofit, worked in community. Was that always something that was important to you, or was there an event that happened in your life that made that be a focus? I mean, how did that come about?
Yeah, I grew up in a white suburb, and
where?
Santa Rosa, California. So an hour north of San Francisco, and there weren't many folks that looked like me. And
wait, an hour north of San, isn't that almost Sacramento at that point?
No, that's kind of like 3-4.
Oh, is that far away?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so this is just an hour north, and I got teased a lot. So I got called a gorilla, with my big hair, and I got called, it was like a game to ditch me at recess. Like, I just got like all the worst of it. And so I had no self-esteem.
Were you the girl who was always the tallest person in the class, or did you get
Yes, I was tall and, skinny. I had braces and glasses, like the whole nine, like full on awkward. and so I just had no self-esteem growing up. And I made the commitment then to educate as many people as possible on topics of diversity, because I didn't want anybody else to feel the teasing that I had to go through. So that registered for me when I was like 15, 16. So I started a diversity club at my school and just got involved with a lot of diversity education things. So it's always been a part of my mission with life, just to give back and to leave the world a better place for those that come after me.
And when you went to Cal Berkeley?
Yes, from undergrad, yep.
Yes, who we're big fans of Cal because they've given us Deshaun Jackson and Nnamdi Asomugha. So we love Cal.
Yeah, Nnamdi, we were at school at the same time.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, in that process, have you found family and friends supportive? Have they been like, I don't know about this? What has been, where have you gotten your support from?
For this project in particular? The support has been overwhelming. That's one thing that I really credit with this, is the fact that, when people might have some big dreams and you share them, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and people are like, and they're kind of giving side eye, like, oh yeah, you do that, okay, she ain't gonna be able to do that. I've actually been very, very fortunate to be surrounded by people who have not doubted what I'm doing, and they've only gotten excited for me and offered resources and offered to help. So I think that's always been a key thing, is having strong support network around you.
Now, when you were a kid, you didn't see yourself necessarily as being a TV host.
Oh no, not at all.
Right. So what direction did you think you were going in?
A nonprofit. So like my first job out of college was being the executive director of a youth leadership nonprofit in the Bay Area. And so I just saw my path as kind of growing in nonprofit leadership, maybe just going from a grassroots run to a bigger one. But it didn't feel, I couldn't really see myself fitting into anybody else's institution. I knew that I had to start something with my own vision, because I just have a lot of ideas that I want to be able to implement without going through all the red tape. So that was definitely a factor.
So when you come up, you have the concept and it starts to do well, and you can see that, wow, okay, this is really what I'm about and I need to do this. At what point does the tour come about, and how did you work out the logistics for the tour?
Yeah, so the tour came about on a park bench, Washington Square Park. I was kind of going through a crisis. I graduated, the loans had been cut off. I was like, what am I gonna do? I need to make money, I need to do something. And I was just sitting and reflecting. I had just read Manning Marable's book, Malcolm X, A Life of Reinvention. And I was just feeling really inspired by his story and the transformation that he was able to go through publicly. Malcolm X is a public leader. And I just recognized, what he did is he traveled around the country, and he had, his own platform, and he was able to share his vision for the world. And I was reflecting on that. I was like, I have a vision for the world that I want to connect with other people, and I want to rally people around just a more positive, empowered idea of our future. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go on tour. And so that's really how the spark happened. Again, I told you I'm a little bit, it's just a part crazy, where it's just like, all right. So in the same way that I decided the show was gonna happen, I decided the tour was gonna happen, and I started planning it from there. And that was like maybe early July. And
what is the goal of the tour? I mean, you're hitting a lot of the major cities. Pittsburgh, you said is next. You got Detroit, Ann Arbor, Chicago. You go back to the Bay Area, Austin, New Orleans, Raleigh-Durham. You finish up in Washington, D.C. There's some other stops along the way. What went into the tour, deciding where you were going to go? How did you pick those?
Well, I did want to hit major cities. I wanted to hit areas that had universities, a lot of university populations, and then also places where I knew people. So Wood, hook up with that homestay situation, and also just places where I knew there were going to be, where I had contacts with people that I wanted to interview. Because also the spark in being able to believe in this project is just knowing I have all these great friends that I know are doing amazing work, but they don't get highlighted because they're not just following regular mainstream rules. So I felt like it would be a great way to also tap into the people that I knew around the country where they were at.
Absolutely. Now we have to take a break in just a few moments. When we come back on the other side, we're going to do a little Troy News. It's called Troy News and Al's Views, but today it's going to be Troy News and Al and Ariana's views.
Nice.
All right, so feel free to talk about anything that he mentions in his news story. How can folks, if they want to participate, if they want to support, how can they do that?
Yes, they can go to knowthis.tv. That's our website. That's where all the episodes are aired. We also have an Indiegogo place where people can help pitch into the tour if they like, because we're on that fundraising tip as well. And we're also taking your ideas for guests to highlight, where this is really the first stop of the tour. So if we're coming to your city, let us know if there's someone we should talk to, or a place that we can come and speak to you all.
Now you have something called host one of Ariana's talks. Now, what does that mean?
So I'm also doing speaking on the side. So I have a talk called I Have a Dream 2.0 that's really kind of an updated version for these times in terms of trying to revitalize the essence of dreaming again, and not just kind of wallowing in a lot of the issues, but really like, what are the possibilities? What are the solutions we can be dreaming up versus all the bickering and the fighting that's all ego driven that's really happening in Washington right now.
Absolutely. We know about that here too.
Yeah.
We're going to take this break. I'm glad you could be here.
Yes, thank you.
And the website for the show is knowthis.tv.
Yes.
Okay, and there they can get more information, contact you about us and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we're also on Facebook and on Twitter.
Give those.
So Twitter is at KnowThisTV, and Facebook is facebook.com/KnowThisTV as well. And I'm on Twitter as well at Ariana KSS.